name's John Cordy, and by the time you're watching this, I'm probably an uncle. So that's kind of cool. It's also true, for once. So in this video, I wanted to go through some chords that I used, and I guess still use if I'm ever playing in drop D or one of these tunings, and chords that I guess you could use to spruce up your djent playing if you're into that. And let's just talk a little bit about why I think this way about stuff. So probably the first thing that you do when you play in drop D is play in D minor, right? Because you automatically hear that as like the lowest note, and you hear that as like the home, and that'll be the minor chord that you hear and you use. Now, if you're using drop D for more than one tune at a time, or if you're writing like an EP or an album, one of the things that because I used to listen to things like Kill Switch Engage and stuff who use drop C tuning, I think. One of the things that started to sort of grate on me was that everything seemed to be in that same key. And so when you listen to an album, or if you listen to a few albums, or even, you know, lots of stuff from the same sort of time with the same kind of tuning, everything seemed to be focused on this kind of everything was in that kind of key. And that sort of was a little bit boring to me. So one of the things that I did was to figure out a way to do something that's slightly different to that. One of the ways that I tried to make things a little bit different was to use the D as like the chord 4. So we're effectively in A major. So this would be home. So I'm just going to show you some chords that I think are really tasty in this kind of flavour, and then you can use the for all of that djenty stuff or rocky stuff or whatever, but it's just some chords that I like the sound of. So we're in A major for this, and here's my first suggested chord, which is going to be an A here, an A here, an E, a B, and an E. So that's quite an open sounding thing. And then the other cool thing is you can just chuck the D in the bottom and you've got yourself a D chord as well. So yeah, there's that. There's two chords there. So there's the A and there's the D. And then another little nice bit of flavour we could give to this would be to put this major 7 on the top. And then we could also use that for the D as well. So we're playing on the B string. We're playing a G sharp. So with that, and then we could use that G sharp with the D chord as well to give us like a sharp 11, which has that super Lydian sound. You could even put a B on there as well. So what have we got? We've got the D. We've got an A. Major 7. And then we've got a D sharp 11. And then we can chuck a B in the top. So there's already quite a few little useful things there, hopefully. Then one of the really cool things I like to do with the minor is, if you've seen me play this kind of chord before, major 7, add 9, and then we can just chuck an F sharp in the bass. So we're barring all of this, and then we're playing an A and an E. And then you can take off the bottom 2 strings and make that a D chord. Really nice, kind of thick, chewy sound. You can move that as well. So, let me just explain something. So we're playing an F sharp here. This chord shape will also work for our chord 2, which in A would be B minor. So we've got chord 1, chord 4, chord 6, chord 2. So I guess I'll show you a chord 5 and then maybe that'll do us. So that's what I might use for an E. Big open sound, or maybe we could try. If we want to get the 3rd in. So those are some of the chords that I really like the sound of if we're using a drop D tuning. Just to summarise again quickly, instead of using a normal kind of approach where you'd have the open D be like the 6, or so you wouldn't be playing, you'd be playing in D minor or F major normally. In drop D, that's quite a usual approach. So we're using the D as the 4 instead of the major, and we basically end up playing in A major. So those are just some cool chords that I wanted to show you. I'll now do some playing with those and demonstration of some of those in context. But if you want the tab for that, they'll be on my Patreon. Hopefully you can work out what I was doing roughly there. Maybe if you go back and watch a few bits, you'll see exactly what I meant. But yeah, the tabs will be on Patreon if you want them, and I'll put the backing track up for what I'm about to do on Patreon. If you wanted to support the channel and you got something useful out of this video, there's a buy me a coffee link, just in case you wanted to make like a one-off donation and say thank you or whatever. But only do that if you can really afford it and if you really got something out of this video. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you soon.